Destines, The Temple of Destiny. Destines Series Book 2. Written by David Barco. Narrated by Brian Jeffords. Chapter 1. A Terrible Nightmare. Harrison screaming, the sheets drenched in sweat as if someone has poured water on them. His mom bursts through the door and cuts the light on. "Harrison, baby, calm down," Frances says as she sits on the side of his bed. Harrison breathes heavily as images of the incident at the Purhara Mountains race through his mind. He kicks his legs under the sheet, trying to get out from underneath them. "No!" Harrison screams. "Tommy!" Frances softly grabs his shoulder and tries to calm him down. "Baby, it's all right." Harrison lays his head on her shoulder and weeps loudly. Frances hugs him tightly and fights hard to hold back her tears. "It's all my fault," Harrison cries. "Tommy died because of me." Frances holds him as he sobs. She rubs the back of his head. "Shh," she says as she stands up slowly. "Let's take you to the couch. Your bed is soaked from all the sweat." Harrison stands up and follows her to the living room. He lays down on the old couch. Frances lays a blue blanket that isn't long enough to cover his whole body. He closes his eyes while his head shakes gently. She smiles and begins to walk to her room. All of a sudden, as she walks past the front door, a note slides underneath it. Harrison squints his eyes and watches her pick it up. "Mom, what's that?" Harrison asks. She reads it to herself. A couple of seconds go by. She walks over to him and cuts on the light on the table beside the couch. Harrison sits up as she hands him the note. He rubs his eyes and begins to read. "Harrison, I hope your summer has been well. With classes starting back up at the academy in 2 weeks, I think now is the time to meet with you and your friends and talk about the incident at the Purhara Mountains. We will meet tomorrow at the docks where the ferry to the academy departs. Please, meet at sundown. Sincerely, Joe Van Dirk, Destin Elder." Harrison puts the note on the coffee table and places his head in his hands. Frances sits next to him. "Honey, it's going to be okay. The elder is going to make sure you're okay," Frances says. "Why aren't you mad that he never told us about Dad being alive?" Frances puts her arm around him. "Harrison, what would that do? Instead of being mad about that, let's be happy that your dad is alive and that there is hope." Harrison stands up and throws the blanket down with an attitude. "No telling where Dad is. If he is alive, then why hasn't he shown up? It doesn't make any sense. Why would he just leave us here all by ourselves?" Frances stands up and walks toward Harrison. "Baby, I don't have an answer to that question. I really wish I did. But I know him better than anyone, and there must have been a really important reason for him to not come around these past 14 years. "Well, forget him. I don't care if he doesn't ever show up." Harrison crosses his arms and pouts. "Now, we both know you don't mean that. Look at the lengths you went to try and find him. I mean, come on, Harrison. You journeyed to a different nation to try and find him." Harrison puts his head down, trying to hold back the tears. "And what did that get me? A terrible nightmare that I just relive every time I close my eyes. Because of me trying to find him, I led my friends into a trap, and Tommy was killed. If he would have just contacted us or reached out to let us know he was alive, then all of this would have never happened." Frances hugs him tightly. "This is all his fault, and if we ever cross paths again, I will let him know exactly how I feel, and he will pay," Harrison says. Frances looks him in the eyes and wipes away the tear running down his face. "This isn't his fault or your fault. What happened just happened. What matters now is how you move on from it. If you bottle these feelings up and blame yourself, your dad, or other people, then it's going to take you down a place you don't want to go, Harrison."
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.